Okay, in this problem here, we're supposed to determine the exact value for sine 30, cosine 30, tangent 30. And we are given this special right triangle values. That's a 30, 60, 90-degree triangle. To determine the sine, cosine, tangent, we're going to use the SOHCAHTOA formula. That's sine for so, cosine for ka, and tangent for toa. So this means sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent is opposite over adjacent. We're looking for sine 30. So the angle that we're looking at is this. So let's label the sides of the triangle that we got here. So across from 30 is the opposite. So this side is the opposite side. The opposite to the 90-degree angle is the hypotenuse. That's every time. So that's the value for the hypotenuse. And next to the 30 is the adjacent. So we're going to use these values. We put it into the formula to come up with the sine, cosine, or tangent. So let's start first with sine 30. So I'm just going to go ahead and write that up here. That sine 30 is equal to so opposite over hypotenuse. So let's plug in the value. The opposite, so we're looking at the opposite. That's square root of 3 over 3. Square root of 3 over 3 divided by the hypotenuse is 2 square root of 3 over 3. Now, we remember that we're supposed to rationalize the denominator. That means there should be no denominator at the bottom. Since this is a complex fraction means there's a fraction on top and there's fraction at the bottom. So I write the top first, square root of 3 over 3 times, what am I going to do with the denominator? Flip it and multiply across. So instead of 3 on the denominator, I write 3 on the numerator, and I will put the 2 square root of 3 at the bottom and multiply them across. So this is 2 square root of 3. Okay, so what's going to happen after this? The 3 and the 3 gets crossed out. What else can we cross out? Square root of 3 and square root of 3. So what is left on top? So if everything is crossed out, there is actually an invisible number, because before the square root of 3, there is actually an invisible 1 in there. Okay? So if nothing is left over on either the numerator and the denominator, because you cross them out, there is actually an invisible 1 that's lurking in there. So this comes out 1 over, what's left over in the denominator? 2. So sine 30 is actually 1/2. That's the exact value. Now let's see how that works on the calculator. So let's see if that's really 1/2. So first, I'm going to type in sine 30. The answer is 0.5. Now I type in 1 divided by 2, and the answer is 0.5. So that's the exact value for sine 30. Find the exact value for cosine 30. Okay, so let's go over the work for cosine 30 degrees. So I start by typing in the formula. That's cosine 30. That's ka, that's adjacent over hypotenuse. So what I would do is type in the values. My adjacent here is 1 over the hypotenuse is 2 square root of 3 over 3. So this is a complex fraction. So what I would do is I write the 1 times 3 over 2 square root of 3. So I had to flip it. So what is 1 times 3? 3 over 2 square root of 3. Okay, so because you have a 1 times 3 is 3, and then there's an invisible 1 at the bottom. So 1 times 2 square root of 3 is 2 square root of 3. Now, the radical, whenever it's in the denominator, we need to rationalize it. Rationalize means it should not be sitting there. So what am I going to multiply to both top and bottom here? Square root of 3 over 3, because I need to rationalize it. So what is left here? So this comes out square root of 3 over 2 square root of 9. Because you have 3 times square root of 3 times square root of 3 is square root of 9. What is square root of 9? 3. So this comes out 3 square root of 3 over 2 times 3. Because square root of 9 is 3. So what am I gonna do with 3 and 3? So we can cross out 3 and 3. So what is left here for cosine 30? That would be what? Square root of 3 over 2. So this is the exact value for cosine 30. Now others are gonna say, how do we test if that is right? So let's type it into the calculator. I type in cosine 30. Cosine 30. So that's the number. Okay, so I type in square root of 3 over 2. So square root of 3 divided by 2. Oops, no, the divide is gone. Divided by 2. When I hit equals on this, they should match up. If they don't match up, then we did the wrong math on this. So when I hit this, the answer is a match. Okay, so let's go over tangent 30 here. Tangent is TOA, that's opposite over adjacent. So the opposite here is square root of 3 over 3. So I write square root of 3 over 3. The adjacent is 1. Anything divided by 1 is the same number, right? So what should be tangent 30 then? Square root of 3 over 3. So this is tangent 30. So let's see if tangent 30 and square root of 3 over 3 are actually the same. Let's test it using the calculator. So if you type in tangent 30, this is the value that shows up on the calculator. Tangent 30. So that's the number that we have. Now let's type in square root of 3 over 3. What does it look like? It should match up with this. So square root of 3 divided by 3. When I hit this, it should come up with a value like that. If not, then we did the math wrong. So let's see. And the answer is a match. So that is the exact value for tangent 30 square root of 3 over 3.